Hello, in this section of the tutorial we're going to learn how to use the TI-83, TI-84 matrix functions. So the calculator is actually very good at handling matrices and does almost everything that you want to do in a typical class setting to deal with matrices. And the good news is it saves you a great deal of time because matrix operations by hand is not hard, it's just time consuming. So for the TI-84 calculator, the matrix button is really a second function up here. If you have a TI-83 or an older calculator, you might actually have a dedicated matrix button on your calculator, so just press that instead. But other than that, everything should be very similar. So to go into the matrix menu, we hit the second function and go down here and hit this button to get into the matrix. Now, you're presented with this menu. It looks a little bit daunting, but basically, any matrices that you have stored here are labeled with letters. So matrix A, matrix B, matrix C. So those are just the names. I mean, that's all it is. And you can go down and you can see you have more after 7. You have 8, 9, and 0. So you have 10 matrices you can store at any given time in this calculator as far as permanently storing them. Now let's say you had a matrix that you had stored already in matrix A. So under the names column here, if you just hit enter or hit the number 1, then it will just put that name on the calculator screen, and you can do all kinds of things with it. You can multiply with it, you can divide with it. This is where you would do your calculations. If we just hit enter here, we're going to get an error because this particular matrix is completely empty, so there's nothing to do. So let's clear it and go back to the matrix menu, and now let's go ahead and put a matrix in there. So let's skip the math menu for a second. This is where you do a lot of the math functions on a matrix. Let's go over to the edit menu. So it's the same kind of thing. Whatever matrix you would like to edit, in other words, put numbers in for the matrix, you have to go over to the Edit tab. So for matrix A, let's hit 1. Let's say we have, and at the top it's asking us, okay, matrix A, is it a 1 by 1 matrix? What is it? You can type in the dimensions of the matrix. Always remember, this will help you in matrix math when you have the dimensions like this. It's always row by column.